Now, when Krishna had given the 5 Pandav brothers his blessing on the occasion of their marriage to Draupadi, they, strengthened by their new friendship with the divine youth and the matrimonial alliance with King Drupad, at last came out of hiding. Dhritarashtra was told of their reappearance and, at the insistence of Bhishma, agreed to give them half their kingdom, but stipulated that the other half should be set aside for his own sons. With the advice of Krishna and the indefatigable labors of his brothers, King Yudhishthir laid the foundation of his new capital at Indraprastha, adjacent to modern Delhi. The foundations of the city were so soundly constructed that even today, after ages, its walls are shown to visitors, and its site was so well chosen that India's imperial capital has ever since been either that city itself or a place nearby. The new kingdom was administered with remarkable efficiency. There was no misery in the kingdom, peace and prosperity were visible everywhere. Krishna became the close friend and advisor of the Pandav brothers. He and Arjun became almost inseparable companions. In all affairs of the state, Yudhishthir consulted Krishna. Under the management of Krishna, the coronation ceremony of Yudhishthir was celebrated with great pomp. India's kings and princes participated in it. The happy event came to a termination with the performance of the Rajasuya sacrifice, in which many princes acknowledged the lordship of Yudhishthir. King Duryodhan and his friends attended the festival. He was smitten with jealousy at the splendor of the new kingdom and the honor shown to his royal cousin. He resolved to bring about the destruction of the Pandavas and found an able accomplice in his uncle Shakuni. This man, sly as a fox, was a brother of Duryodhan's mother and a gambler very skillful with the dice. King Yudhishthir, for all his noble qualities, had one weakness. He could not refuse a game of dice when challenged. It was to him a challenge to battle, true Kshatriya knight that he was, he could never decline. Duryodhan, counselled by Shakuni, prevailed upon his blind father to invite Yudhishthir to a game of dice. Yudhishthir knew that he gambled badly. Furthermore, as the game would approach its height, he would completely lose his head and bet wildly. Therefore, he always tried to avoid outright challenges to play. This time, however, he was summoned by his elder, and his chivalrous nature could not refuse the invitation. He saw bad omens and felt certain premonitions regarding the outcome of the game. He declared as he set forth with his brothers and wife, "I think it is a call of fate. Who is man to fight against destiny?" The Pandav brothers and their wife were royally received by Duryodhan. Soon the fateful game began. King Dhritarashtra, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and the whole court beside Duryodhan and his brothers were the spectators. Yudhishthir was to play with Shakuni, and Duryodhan had promised to pay the stakes that the latter might lose. The dice was loaded. From the very beginning, Yudhishthir began to lose and Shakuni to win. Yet each time he lost, the king shouted for higher stakes. Thus were lost his jewels and royal treasures, lost the wardrobes and precious banners, lost the royal stables and chariots, and lost even the weapons with which he had fought on the battlefield, and finally his kingdom itself. The king was now nearly insane and beyond all reasoning. At a critical moment of the play, he staked his brothers, himself, and their wife, and lost. Duryodhan's jubilation knew no bounds. He ordered one of his friends to bring the wife Draupadi to court. She was dragged there by the hair. She was informed that henceforth she would be a slave of Duryodhan and must obey all his commands. To make her humiliation complete, an attempt was made to snatch away her clothes, but she called upon Krishna, the protector of his devotees, in the hour of their shame, and behold, The scarf and veil that were snatched from her body were miraculously replaced, and the queen was not for a moment disrobed. The elders shuddered at this humiliation of womanhood. King Dhritarashtra trembled with fear and begged Draupadi to ask of him 3 boons to allay her wrath. For the first boon she asked the freedom of Yudhishthir, and for the second the freedom of the 4 other brothers with all their weapons. When asked about the third boon, she flung back with pride and scorn. Nah, I ask no more. The Pandavas, being free, can right themselves. They need no man anything. The Pandavas were now free to return to their own kingdom, but the wily Duryodhan, finding this purpose unaccomplished, persuaded the blind and weak king to invite Yudhishthir for another game of dice. Dhritarashtra again sent an invitation to Yudhishthir, who could not refuse it, since to him it was a point of honor. This time the stake was that the loser should retire into the forest for 12 years to lead the austere life of a hermit, and pass the 13th year unrecognized in some city, or if recognized, pass another 12 years in the forest of Fafit. The dice was thrown, and Yudhishthir of course lost again. The Pandav brothers with their wife made ready to go into the forest. They took leave of the elders, who were sad to see them go. They saluted the blind king, who assured them, if Duryodhan fails to discover your hiding place, then on the day that ends the 13th year, you will return to your home and your kingdom as free man and prince, precisely as when you came to this place to play the dice.